video, page 907, these numbers right here. So welcome to the homework help video. Let's go ahead and get started with the video. Here we go. Numbers 1, 5, 9, and 13. The directions say to find the determinant, okay? Find the determinant. So the determinant of a 1 by 1 matrix. I'm not sure if we covered this in class, but the determinant of a 1 by 1 would just be that number right there. So the determinant is 5, okay? The determinant is 5. Okay, let's take a look now at number 5. Number 5, remember, the assignment is every other odd, okay? Every other odd. So here we go. We're going to multiply up -12 and then change the sign. We're going to multiply down +15 and not change the sign. So the answer is 27. Alright, moving on to number 9. Alright, here we go. We're going to multiply up. You get +18. Negative times a negative is positive. I'm going to change the sign and put negative. 2 times 9 is 18. We do not change the sign, and so the determinant would be 0 for number 9. Okay, moving on to number 13. Number 13. Alright, we're going to multiply up, and we get a -2. I'm going to make it a +2. Always change the sign when you multiply up. -1/2 times negative, or +1/3, would be -1/6. So 2 minus a 6 would be 1 and 5/6, or 11/6. Either one of those two answers are acceptable. Okay? Alright, moving on to the next section. The next section says, use the matrix capabilities of a graphing utility to find the determinant. Okay? So here's what you do. First of all, you hit on your calculator. You type second matrix, okay? And then after you hit second matrix, you scroll over to edit. So after you scroll over to edit, you then scroll down to A, B, C, D, etc. wherever you want to enter your matrix. Then hit enter, and then go ahead and type in 3 by 3. Then enter all of your numbers, all of your entries. Once you have done that, then hit second quit. Okay? Then, now listen to me carefully, students. It's so important you hear this, okay? Next, you hit second matrix, then go over to math, and option number 1 is determinant. D-E-T, okay? So, you hit enter on option number 1, and this will pop up on your screen right here. You will see DET parentheses. Then go back into matrix and hit enter on wherever you enter the matrix. A, B, C, D, whatever, okay? So if it was matrix A, it would look like this. And then you can close the parentheses if you want to, but you don't have to, okay? And then hit enter, okay? And you will get out the determinant. And what you should get out, if you're doing this correctly, would be -4.842. -4.842. Okay? Alright, moving on to number 21. Now, numbers 21 through 25, the directions say to find all minors and cofactors, okay? So remember, we start here, and we call this M11, okay? Because this is row 1, column 1. And we circle it, go down, go across, and you're left with -4, okay? Then we go across to M12. Which stands for row 1, column 2. This number here. Go down, go across, you're left with -2. Okay, this is row 2, column 1. So we call this M21, row 2, column 1. So we're left with 1. Okay, now let's put M22. And you're left with 3. So there's the minors, okay? Now, remember the cofactors. Use this series right here. Positive, negative, negative, positive. Now, what that means is this. That means positive, so you leave this alone. So cofactor 11 will be -4. This negative sign here means you change the sign of this. So cofactor 12 would be +2. Cofactor 21, there's a negative sign here, which means you change the sign of this. So it would be -1. Cofactor 22 corresponds with this sign right here. So we leave this alone. 3. Okay? Let me check the answers real quick to make sure we've not made any mistakes. -4, -2, 1, 3. And yes, this is correct, okay? Moving on to 25. Now, obviously, students, a lot more work to do, okay? So, we're going to start off with M1, M11, which is right here. So, we're going to go down and across, and we're left with this. So, we got to find the determinant of this 2 by 2. So, multiply up, make it a +18. Multiply down, make it a +12. So, we're left with 30, okay? Okay, moving on to minor 12, which is this number right here. So we go like this, and we go like this, and we're left with this matrix right here. So -1 times -1 times -6 is +6. So I'm going to put a -6. 3 times 6 would be +18. Combine those, and you'll get a 12. And then very quickly, we're going to squeeze in minor 13. So it's this right here. So we're left with this matrix right here. So find the determinant. Multiply up is -2. I'll put a +2. Multiply down is +9. So the determinant would be 11. Okay, so there's our first 3. All right, let's continue on and find the next 3. Okay, students, moving on. Now we're going to go to M21. That's row 2, column 1 right here. So we'll go like this, go like this. We're left with this matrix here. 3 times 8 is 24. I'm going to put a -24. -2 times 6 is a -12. So we get a -36. All right, moving on to M22. M22, which is right here. So we'll go like this, go like this. We're left with this matrix here. 3, -1, 8, 6. -1 times 8 is -8. So I'm going to put a +8. 3 times 6 is 18. So we get 26. And then lastly, students, we're going to look at M23. So it's this number here. So here's your matrix right here. -1 times -2 is 2. So I'm going to put a -2. 3 times 3 is 9. Combine those and you get a +7, okay? +7. Let me check those 3 real quick in the book and we'll continue on. 26. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. -36. 26 and 7. Okay, moving on to our last 3. We have minor 31. That's row 3, column 1, right here. this. Go like this. Here's your matrix right here. 2 times 8 is 16. I'm going to put a negative 16. Negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. Combine those and you get a negative 4. Okay, moving on to minor 32. Right here. So here's your matrix right here. 3, 3, 8, negative 6. Multiply up, put a negative 24. Multiply down, negative 18. And we get negative 42. And then lastly, minor 33. Be this right here. So you're left with 3, 3, negative 2, 2. Multiply up, negative 6. So I'm going to put a positive 6. Multiply down, positive 6. So we get a 12. So there's our 9 minors, okay? Let me check those real quick. Negative 4, negative 42, and 12. Now for the cofactors. The sign sequence would go like this. Positive, negative, positive, and then we go across positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, okay? So here we go. Your cofactor would be cofactor 11 would be positive 30 because this is positive right here. Cofactor 12 would be negative 12. You change the sign because of this sign right here. And then cofactor 13 would be 11. You would not change the sign because of this sign here. Now, cofactor 21 becomes a positive 36 because you have a negative sign here, which means change the sign. Cofactor 22 has a positive sign here, so 26 stays the same. Cofactor 23 would be negative sign here, which means change the sign of the 7, so a negative 7. Cofactor 31, positive, so leave it alone, negative 4. Cofactor 32, negative, which means change the sign of the negative 42, so it would be a positive 42. And then cofactor 33 is positive here, which means leave this alone, so it stays 12. Okay, students, I quickly checked these answers. They are all correct, so we're going to go ahead and move on now to number 29. Okay, now at number 29, they're asking us to find the determinant, and again, we're going to do it the way I taught you. So here's how we do it. Alright, we're going to put 5, 0, 1, 0, 12, 6, negative 3, 4, 3. Then we copy the first column over again. 5, 0, 1. Then we copy the second column over again. 0, 12, 6. We're going to multiply up 3 times and change the sign. So here we go. Negative 36. So I'm going to put a positive 36. This would be a positive 120. So I'm going to put a negative 120. 3 times 0 times 0 is just 0. Okay, let's multiply down now, okay? 5 times 12 times 3 is 180. We do not change the sign. 0 times 4 times 1 is 0. 3 times 0 times 6 is 0. Okay, now we add all of these numbers up, so we should get 96. If you add all 6 of these numbers up, you should get 96. Let me check the book real quick to make sure I've not made a mistake somewhere, and the answer is 96. Okay, very good. Moving on, number 33. The directions say to find the determinant. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and copy these first 2 columns over again. So 2, 4, 4, negative 1, 2, 2. Now we're going to multiply up like this, and we'll get 0. Multiply up like this, we get a positive 4, so we're going to put a negative 4. Always change the sign when you're multiplying up. Here we're going to positive or negative 4. So we're going to put a positive 4. Now let's multiply down. 2 times 2 times 1 will be 4. We do not change the sign. Multiply down. Negative 4. We do not change the sign. And then 0 times 4 times 2 would be 0. So these cancel. If you add all of this up, you get a big 0, okay? So the determinant for number 33 is 0. Alright, moving on to 37. Okay, once again, students, we will copy the first two columns over again. Negative 1, 0, 0, 2, 3, 0. We're going to multiply up like this, and we get a 0. I'm just going to put all the numbers in a big line, and we can add them. 0, multiply up, and you'll get a 0. Multiply up, and you'll get a 0. Multiply down, and you will get a negative 9. Multiply down here, and you'll get a 0. Multiply down here, and you'll get a 0. So if you add all of these up, you will get a negative 9, okay? Let me check that real quick and make sure that's right. Yes, that is the correct answer. The determinant is negative 9, okay? Moving on to 41. Now remember, students, anything larger than a 3 by 3, I want you to use your calculator. So this is a 4 by 4, so you're going to enter this into your calculator and then find the determinant of it, okay? Now, if you don't get the correct answer, then maybe check with a classmate and try to find your mistake as to where you're entering this in wrong, okay? But it should be negative 168. That is the answer you should get out, okay? Alright, number 45. Same thing, guys. You're going to enter this into your calculator as a 5 by 5. And then under math, you're going to go to option number 1, which is determinant, and then find the determinant. And for number 45, the answer you should get is 412, okay? 412. Okay, moving on to number 49, the directions say to. Once again, use a calculator to find the determinant. So, with the calculator, you're going to type in this 3 by 3, then go to math, hit option 1, which is determinant, and then find the determinant of this 3 by 3, and students, you should get out 0, okay? 0. If you're entering it incorrectly and you're pushing the right buttons, you should get out 0. Okay, students, moving on to number 53. Number 53, the directions say to. Well, for 53, we're doing A and B. So A says to find the determinant of A. So we'll do this very quickly. Multiply up, we get 0. Multiply down, we get negative 3. Combine those, and the determinant of A is negative 3. Okay? Now, they want us to multiply A times B, I believe, for number, no, I'm wrong. For letter B, they want us to find the determinant of B, okay? So we're going to find the determinant of B. So multiply up, and we get 0. Multiply down, we get negative 2. Combine those, and we get negative 2. So the determinant of 53B would be negative 2. Okay, students, so don't forget, on number 53, all that I wanted you to do was A and B, and A said to find the determinant of A, and we did that, and B said to find the determinant of B, and we did that, okay? So moving on to number 57, C and D. Now C is multiply A times B, okay? So we're going to multiply A times B. So here we go. We're multiplying A 3 by 3 times A 3 by 3. Your inside numbers match, and your outside outside numbers give you the dimensions of your answer. So your answer is going to be a 3 by 3. Alright, so here we go. We learned this the other day. Okay, here we go. Row times column right here. So we're going to get a positive 1, then a 0, 2 times 0, 1 times 0. So we get 1. Then we'll take row times this column here. Okay, so we have negative 1 times 0, 0. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 0, 0. So we get a 4. Now we'll take this row here times this column here. So negative 1 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. And 1 times 3 is 3. So 0 plus 0 plus 3 is 3. Okay, moving on to this row here times this column, then times this column, then times this column. Okay, so here we go. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. So negative 1 plus 0 is negative 1. Then we have 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. And 1 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. Then we have 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. So 0 plus 0 plus 3 is 3. So this entry here would be 3. And then lastly, this row here times these columns over here. So here we go. 0 times negative 1 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Add up all 3 zeros and we get 0. Now we're going to take this row times this column here. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 plus 0 is 2. So the answer, the entry would be 2. And then we're going to take row times last column. So 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. Okay, let me check the back of the book real quick and make sure this is correct. And here we go. We're getting out. Let's see here. Yes, that is correct. Now, part D says to find this. And these two lines here mean find the determinant of A times B. Well, students, we already took A times B, so all we have to do now is find the determinant of A times B. So here we go. This should not be too difficult to do. Okay, we're going to copy our first 2 columns over. 1, negative 1, 0, 4, 0, 2. Okay, let's multiply up. We get a 0. Multiply up. We get a positive 6, so I'm going to put a negative 6. Multiply up, and we get a 0. Now multiply down, and we get a 0. Multiply down, and we get a 0. Multiply down, and we get a negative 6. So the determinant should be negative 12. Okay, let me check that real quick. And yes, that is correct. Okay, moving on to number 61. Okay, now students, this problem here is going to be what I call a royal pain, but here we go. 1, 1, 1, x, y, z, x squared, y squared, z squared. Now look, students, we have bars right here. So what they're saying is this: the determinant of this matrix equals this here. So we're going to find the determinant and see if that's correct, okay? So we copy our first column over, and then copy over your second column. Okay, 1 times y times x squared would be x squared, y, negative. Z times y squared times 1 is negative y squared z. And then z squared squared times 1 times x is negative c squared x, okay? Now multiply down, we get positive y squared positive yz squared then multiply down positive xy squared and then multiply down positive x squared z or zx squared. So students, what we're going to get is this. We have two choices now. We can either take this really big expression here and factor it down into this right here, or we can take this expression here, multiply it out, and see if we get this right here. And I think that would be the easiest, probably the best way to do this, okay? So here we go. Y minus x times z minus x. And here we go very quickly. Y, z minus x, y minus x, z plus x squared. And then we multiply this times z minus y. And so students, here we go. Yz times z is y, z squared. Yz times y is negative y squared z. Check that off. Negative xy times z is negative x, y, z, and negative xy times y is positive x, y squared. Check that off. Then we have negative xc times z would be negative x, z squared, and then negative xc times negative y would be positive x, y, z. So this term here is going to cancel out with this term here. So I'm going to go ahead and cross them off. And then continuing on, xc times x squared times z would be positive x squared z, and then x squared times negative y is negative x squared y. So I'm going to take each one of these terms and put each one of these terms under their matching term. Okay, so this term here goes perfectly with this term here. This term here, negative y squared z, goes right here. Negative z squared x goes right here. Positive yz squared goes right here. Positive xy squared goes right here. And positive zx squared goes right here to this term. So it is equal, okay? So just a lot of busy work there, but they are equal, okay? So when I found the determinant, it did equal this right here, okay? Number 65. Okay, the directions for number 65 say to solve the equation, okay? Solve for x. So here we go. We're going to find the determinant, and it should equal 0. So the determinant would be 1 times 2, that's negative 2. And then if you multiply these two expressions together, you will get x squared plus 5x plus 6, okay? So we multiplied down, we got this right here. So we're going to add these two things together. So x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so next I would have x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. Now I can factor this, okay, so here we go. A positive 4 and a positive 1 have a product of 4 and a sum of 5. So the factorization would be x plus 4, x plus 1. So the number that satisfies this parentheses here is negative 4, and the number that satisfies this parentheses here is negative 1, okay? So for number 65, you're going to have two answers, negative 1 or negative 4, okay? All right, moving on now to number 69. Okay, students, moving on to number 69. Now, I never taught you this in class, but here's how you use the determinant of a matrix to find the linear equation, okay, or a linear equation of the line that passes through these 2 points, okay? What you do is you use the formula, you draw a matrix, and right here, you always put 3 ones, okay? And then here, you always put x and y, and then you put one ordered pair here. It doesn't matter which ordered pair, either one can go there, and the other ordered pair goes here, okay? Now what you do is you find the determinant of this matrix, and when you do that, believe it or not, you get out the linear equation of the line that passes through these 2 points here. It's really pretty cool. So let's go ahead and find the determinant. Let's copy our first column over and our second column over. And here we go. Multiply up and you get a 0. Multiply up and you get you get 4x. So we're going to put a negative 4x. Multiply up, negative 4y, so I'm going to put a positive 4y. Multiply down, we get a 0. Multiply down, we get 4y. Multiply down, we get a negative 16. So here is what we have. We have negative 4x plus 8y minus 16, and then you always set it equal to 0, always. So there's your linear equation. Now if you want to write it in a little more normal looking form, you could say, put your x term first, then your y term second, and then bring your constant term over like this. And there's your linear equation, okay? Let me check the back of the book real quick. And then we'll move on, okay? Okay, yes, that is correct. Now, students, listen. Since I did not go over this in class, let me show you one more time, okay? What you always do is you always put 3 ones here, okay? And then here, you always put the variable x, and here the variable y. Then here, you put one of your ordered pairs, and here, you put the other ordered pair, and then you find the determinant and set it equal to 0, and you have your linear equation, okay? All right, number 73. Number 73.